Peace. Salute. 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 Peace and love. And infinite blessings to the good family. I'm just readying my little settings here. Give me 1 second, you guys. Hold on. Let me just plug this in. Make sure that I'm good and I'm charged and ready to go. Give me 1 second, you guys. Okay. I think I'm good. Infinite blessings to the good family. Hope everybody is doing well. Apologies for the few minutes of delay. Had to get some things acquainted on my end, things set up on my end. And of course, I saw that the beautiful King BF was on. So I wanted to, of course, bide some additional time for him to, take care of things while I was setting up on my end. So I pushed the time back to about 6:15, 6:20 for today's discussion. But I hope that everybody is well. It's definitely good to be back, right, after the little break that I took last Sunday. It's nice to be back in here with the good family, speaking to you guys and seeing you guys. So I hope everything has been well. We have had, since we last convened, some crazy diabolical things, permeate and seep through the these boxing streets. We've seen some crazy things unfold. Some of which I wanted to divulge, of course, with you guys today to get your thoughts and your takes on some of the things that I have most certainly peeped. And, for us to have a little dive into what the climate seems to be projecting at this particular moment. And I'd love to present the discourse to the good family and get your thoughts on this particular subject matter. So infinite blessings. Of course, I want to do some salutations before we begin. As people get their notifications and begin making their way into the room, I guess I'll salute the good family who have joined so far. Let's see who we got in the building so far. We got my beautiful sister, Cammy Cam, in the building with the love, with the energy that she always brings, the wonderful, wonderful energy she always brings. Infinite blessings to my beautiful sister, Cam. Okay, hold up. We got the King, Patrice X30 in the building. I'm already smiling even before I even look at what it is that he wrote. I'm already giggling, readying myself to see what the King, the phenomenal King Patrice X30 has said this week. Let's see what he says. This week, the King says, liars mad when Sugar Free speaks the truth, but she gotta forget Stevenson. Only Shakors we recognize are Pac and Asata. Oh my God, Patrice, really? Are we really doing this Sunday? Are we really on this particular type of time? Damn, heavy with the bars. Heavy with the consciousness today. Infinite blessings to the King Patrice. That was a bar indeed, King. And no lies were told, as per usual. No lies told there, King Patrice. Infinite blessings to you. I hope all is well. It's always an adventure awaiting your beautiful psalms and your beautiful, poetry. The bars that you drop, okay, on the ones and twos. It's always wonderful to await what you will come up with from week to week, King. Infinite blessings to you. I appreciate you so much. You already know what time it is, though, right? Hope everything is well with you and yours. And we also have my twin, Daryl Anderson, in the building with them nines in the air as usual. Infinite blessings to my twin, Daryl. Okay, let's see who else we have as the good family are making their way in. I'm seeing a little bit more trickling in. We also have the King, Stephen X, in the building. Infinite blessings to my great brother, Stephen. He says, peace and blessings, Queen. Thanks for pulling up yesterday. Yes, and I have to share that. I meant to share that last evening, but got caught up. So I'm definitely going to share that on my page, right? So that we had a nice little discussion yesterday on Stephen X's page. Good family. Definitely make sure that you guys pull up on the King Stephen X. Stephen is going to be planning to go live on Saturdays, and he's going to keep us informed about his time slot. So just stay in touch with the King Stephen. If you guys have not already subscribed to his page, definitely subscribe. He's also on Twitter at Respect Ring Media. Go check him out on Twitter as well and stay connected, because the brother's going to be doing some cooking on Saturday. So we got to support the good family where the work is needed, right? So infinite blessings to the King Stephen. Thank you so much for pulling up as you promised yesterday. So I'm happy to see you. Thank you so much as always. And we got the great Mike in the building, one of my original hitters. Infinite blessings to the great Mike in the building, who says, salute, SugarFreeMars. You already know what time it is, great Mike. Thank you so much for rolling through. Oh my goodness, we got the beautiful Queen Mama Love in the building. Infinite blessings to the Queen Mama Love. She says, salute to my beautiful child of love, the warrior queen. In that order. Okay. Big love to the Queen Mama Love in the building. Let's see what we got today, you guys, as we await some family to come in and join us for this cook. Now, you guys, excuse the peppermint, right? You guys already know how I roll. I'm gonna try not to chomp on this thing, too loudly in your ears. But some interesting things I have noticed on the scenes, beautiful people, that have definitely caught my attention. And I don't know what else to make of it except for what it is that I, perceive it to be at this particular point, right? Yes, yes to it. Always the peppermint and the water on deck, or the cinnamon, right? Peppermint or cinnamon. You know where I'm at, okay? But yeah, I've been peeping the seams, you guys, and I really, how do I want to put this, you guys? I've really been disheartened by some of the things that I have been made privy to. And I think that the conscious community, right? Our beloved people who hold on, you guys. Is that the beautiful king? Sure enough is. He says, salute, goddess. Infinite blessings to my beautiful king, BF in the building. I'm always excited to see you. Definitely brought a smile on my face. Thank you so much, beautiful king, for joining. Oh my goodness, we got some more people coming in. It makes me happy to see you guys. We got the king Raul. He says, keep cooking, queen. Infinite blessings to you. Love to see the good family. Salute to the King Curtis in the building. Infinite blessings. I see you. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys so much. Oh my goodness, is that Black Preacher Man? Is this my first time seeing you in the chat, Preach? Infinite blessings to the King Preach. Oh, that definitely brought a smile. What an honor to have you, King. Thank you so much for joining, right? I definitely respect the boxing minds, okay, of the good family. It's so wonderful to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining, okay? We got the King Eric. Salute to the King Eric. You guys are making the heart smile, you guys, so excuse my blushing. I like blushing all over the place seeing you guys come in. Blessings to you guys. I see you. All right, we got the King David. Salute to the King David in the building. Infinite blessings and big love to the King David. And the King Bud, salute you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, get comfortable, you guys, because we're going to cook today. We have some wonderful discourse that we are going to have today, okay? Now, as you guys, make your way in, settle in and get cozy, because we're gonna have quite a meal today, I assure you. Now, I don't know what it is about this era, y'all. But the conscious family, our good family who are, aware of what's going on and who have no reticence about calling out the folly and the nonsense that we see. We have been pretty 10 toes on the inanity that's been unfolding in these boxing streets concerning our fighters, right? The premier, let me move my pen. Excuse me. The premier Black fighters, and what seems to be going on, just in general within this landscape right now. It's so much nonsense going on the airways, you guys. I don't even know where to begin. Real talk. Between the stalemate that we had just come off of at 135 when Shakur was there and Tank Davis and that division not having seen any unification, any undisputed attempts being made ever since Devin departed that division. And now we see the same stalemate and the same impasse seemingly being had at 140, where niggas is motherfucking playing patty cake with each other and painting each other's toenails and telling each other bedtime stories and giving niggas kisses on the cheek before bed. What is going on? So we got that nonsense happening now. And it's just like sitting back and just watching all of our brothers and sisters in these boxing streets who are hard at work, bringing a light to shine a light on this inanity. Like the King Champ say, I like my beautiful King BF and all of the ones, who we rock with 10 toes, calling this stuff out. It really had me just sitting back like, what is really the gain? What is there to be had as far as boxing, and how is it servicing the legacy of boxing? Is the legacy of boxing really being serviced, beautiful people? That's always among the questions at the forefront of my mind. And even beyond that, good people, there is something that's really, really, really perturbing me like no other, among all of the other disparities that I see existing and operating in the sport, which for some reason seem to be plentiful right now. But in addition to those things, there is something that I cannot for the life of me understand, nor can I get behind. And honestly, it's something that I feel has been heavily but slowly getting introduced and acquainted with Black fighters, particularly beautiful people. Okay? This is something very specific to us. To us. And I wanted to unpack that with my good family today, because I already know, y'all know how I'm stepping and where I'm coming from. And I'm already in line with a lot of your dispositions as well. And as conscious people, it's always an imperative for me, to speak with and operate alongside the people who resonate on that type of frequency, right? Because just as me and the King Stephen were talking on his live yesterday, right? It's important, that we keep a hammer, that we keep a foot on the necks of any measure or any semblance of inanity that we see going on in boxing, and particularly as it pertains to our culture and our people, because the sport of boxing is representative, whether people want to acknowledge that or not. See, the problem is that no other culture has a problem claiming the fact that their culture is highly on a representative table and standard in boxing. But somehow it's Black boxing, the Black viewership that has a problem accepting, the political representation that our fighters hold and maintain on this stage in boxing, right? But let's get back to this though. Now, this issue that I have been having has been particular, like I said, to Black fighters. And what that is, brothers and sisters, is the renouncing. This is what I see. This is what I see it as. Okay. It's a renouncing that is taking place. There is a subtle rebuking of the importance of championship, good people. Let me take this off real quick because I'm starting to get hot already. Hold on. Hold on. Because I'm motherfucking already turned up, you guys. Give me a second. I'll take that off real quick. Because this stuff really charges me, when I sit back and look at this. There is a rebuking brothers and sisters, of the importance of championship. And I know that some of you may hear this today, or some of whoever may be in the back, the bitches in the back lurking somewhere, the haters, right? Who may come across this, may say, well, what do you mean championship? We have Black champions, right? We have Bud that was a champion. We had Tank Davis that was a champion. Hell, Shakur Stevenson is a champion. And you run the gamut on that, right? But when I say the rebuking of championship, I mean that there is a defiance to compete with the best. And that is very, very, very prevalent in this particular landscape today. So that you may have people, becoming a champion, but there is not a readiness to fight and sharpen your skills with the elites around you, particularly Black elites, when they find another Black elite who they perceive to be a threat. There is a reticence to compete, brothers and sisters. These motherfuckers don't want to compete. There is a withholding of competition, a refraining from competition. What is going on? What is this dynamic that we are seeing at work, ladies and gentlemen? We need to put a foot on that. Okay? So this is a part of this energy that's going on right now. So that there is a rebuking, a denying of the expression of championship and the claiming of it, the passing it on, the continuation of it. And there is also the rebuking of championship's importance as a whole, brothers and sisters, which is what I'm about to cook on right now. There's a need to diminish the significance of championship itself. And it's definitely not a new theme for those of us who have been paying attention over the years, right? I would say that it's a theme that we have seen a slow permeation of, right? It's been within the discourse for, let's say, the last 5 years or so. Just look at the last 5 years, brothers and sisters, right around COVID, okay? Last 5 years or so. But since then, there has been a steady inundation. So it started making a slow entrance in the boxing dialogue around that time. And since then, there's been a steady inundation of this mindset taking over the mentalities of who we consider to be the most notable young Black fighters. There is a parlance that's being used, a parlance that has found a sense of normalcy within the dispositions of certain Black fighters of note. And that's what I kind of want to pinpoint and highlight right now, right? And these fighters who are assuming this mindset, ladies and gentlemen, they are inculcating the fanship with this mentality, and that fanship then goes on to echo and support that mentality. Therefore, it spreads throughout boxing, in other words. Do you understand where I'm getting at? Okay. Now, the curiosity of this for me lies within the aspect that this new sense of leaning in towards this alleged quote unquote insignificance of belts over money mentality is only being pushed, brothers and sisters, only being peddled. And it's only relative to Black elite fighters and Black fanship of those fighters. That's where that mentality is being pushed to. It's not across the board that people are being inundated with this mindset that, oh, belts are insignificant and it's all about big money fights over legacy fights. That's only being told to us. And that's only being regurgitated by Black fighters. Pay attention, good people. All right? There are no other fighters, no other groups or cultures in boxing who are currently riding this campaign that belts don't matter and that money supersedes legacy. Where's the group of culture that totes this banner around? You point them out to me. I need us to look at this so that we can put a foot on some much needed reconnaissance up in here today. All right? And I don't find this at all to be coincidental in the least, that this is particular to Black fighters and being pushed to the Black fan base first, and then, of course, spreading outward to all across boxing and all fanships, right? I wanted to bring the question to the good family to ask your thoughts on this. As this isn't, necessarily a conversation that you will find across these YouTube streets wide scale, okay? This particular avenue that we're going to be venturing into right now. Not going to necessarily come across this, from platform to platform, right? Which seems to be the case with a lot of the discussions that the conscious community holds. So this too, you will not, I'm sure you won't be, run into as frequently as I would like it to be. People will have this either pass over their heads, this discussion, or perhaps they may not even be aware that this is something that is lingering right now. People might not even be aware that this is taking root, right? Because you know what, brothers and sisters, they say that the best way to hide something is what? 9 out of 10 times within the plain sight of the person who is unexpecting. That's the best place to hide something. This is in plain sight, what is taking place right now, you guys. It's plain to me. And I have been taking notes. All right? Now, let's take a dive a little bit, shall we? To my knowledge and recollection, good people, to my recollection, there has been no other culture of boxers, like I said, within this era or any other matter that I can account for, who promote in any way that belts maintain no relevance in their careers. I cannot account for that. Can you? I want you to go pull into your brain computer and pull out any data, any intel that you can account for, where anyone of another particular culture promoted in any way the irrelevance of belts in their careers. Can anyone account for that? Can anybody name a fighter of any other culture and say the last 10, 15 years, if you want to keep it, if you want to give it a little timeline, right? Anybody you can think of in the last 10, 15 years of another culture who have stated such things? Now, I find this interesting because I can't even with certainty state that it's necessarily a part of our culture, because it isn't. It is not traditional to our people. This is something very new, brothers and sisters. It just so happens to be being paraded by some notable Black fighters right now, but it isn't intrinsic to our boxing culture to say or assume a stature that belts don't matter. That has never been the case historically, up until very recently. I certainly did not hear the beautiful warriors that I love in previous eras, Black kings, Black queens, ever think to utter such ridiculous notions as that. Ever. Up until very recently. Our warriors were 10 toes, ironclad in warriorship. They fought fiercely, whether there was a belt on the line or not. But the difference was that the belt was always envisaged as the ultimate claim to one's legacy, period. That was never something out of sight and out of mind. That was always the goal to attain for oneself. Always. It was never not. Okay? Even Floyd, who we heard lament about paying for belts and, ensured that he was, not really, fond of the, paying for the belts and stuff like that, how the belts, he would drop them and stuff like that. He was still an avid collector of them, even though he was complaining about, the payment of them, right? He was still collecting belts, dropping them and picking them up again. Okay? You couldn't keep Floyd from gascinating about how many champions he beat and how many straps he had amassed throughout his career. We know the famous picture of all the straps laid out that man collected during his reign. So that championship was paramount. Absolutely paramount to our legends, to our giants, brothers and sisters. So that to us, to our culture, belts have always been the ultimate prize and proof of one's supremacy in boxing. That's the culture we come from in boxing. That's what this boxing that we love was founded upon. On the backs of the beautiful brothers who built this beautiful sport that we love so much. So that this parlance that we hear now, this disposition that's being had now is very, very Johnny come lately. Okay? Now, as aforementioned, let's say within the last 5 years, as I posited, there has been a shift, brothers and sisters. An alteration has been made by some particular notable young Black fighters who have been coming up, where suddenly it has been made to seem that it is cute, right? It's being assumed that it is cute to claim the opposite of what our beautiful warriors before them have always fought for in boxing. Somehow it's cute now to do the antithesis and to represent the antithesis of the foundation that we stand on. It's absolutely ludicrous, brothers and sisters, right? And I have been left to wonder as a result of this about a host of things, that may have acted as contributors to this logic. Okay, I was going through my brain computer and saying, well, what is the cause of this? How can there be so sudden a shift? How could the very thing that any champion in any sport would want to acclaim for themselves suddenly and strictly in boxing now become counterfeit? How could championship of any kind of any sportsman be something to not aspire for, not fight for, not want to attain for oneself? It had me looking at these things in my mind. And for me, when I was trying to go back and recover the data within my memory of where this first took root and got its initiation, the first inkling of this mindset, good people, that I could account for came on the scene. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, or you give me another instance, right? If I may have missed it. But to my recollection, this mentality first came on the scene by way of Purple Payne Davis. Purple Payne Davis is the earliest memory that I can pull that had waved this particular banner around. He is the first person among this era of fighters to take on that posture. Okay? He put the ball into motion several years ago, about around the time that I'm telling you about, right? That 5-year or so mark, right? And when he set that ball in motion, brothers and sisters, this was his attempt to discredit the work and the accomplishments that the young King Devin was amassing in the sport at the time. This is the root and the basis of this logic, good people. And we need to understand that for what it is. The belts don't matter folly and notion had embedded within it an inherent disdain that Tank Davis had for the young king amassing belts. That's the seed of it. And the seed remains today. Let's think about it. Purple Pain only ever beat one standing champion. I mean, one real super champion. Okay? He only beat one in his entire career. And that is, of course, when he defeated Pedraza back in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, since that time, he has beaten no other super champion. No other champion. Okay? So that the shadow and the web that he cast around the defaming of the significance of belts over the years, right? As he was watching the rise and acceleration of Devin, claiming turf, claiming territory, and gaining stature at 135, right? His defaming of the belts, the whole mentality behind that came from his lack of alacrity in achieving belts. All right? It was his lack of readiness and willingness to achieve belts, to become undisputed, to become unified, because he has also never unified in his career, brothers and sisters. So he started defaming the significance of belts because Dev was amassing them. Follow along, brothers and sisters, because this is what I need you to, let's peel these things back. He had no alacrity in achieving them. So he started what? Defaming and discrediting belts being claimed by the young King Dev. And it also came by way of him hating on the fact that the young king was on a mission to claim his division, which of course we know he ultimately did. All right? I'd say around 2020, let's say 2021, 2022, I'm looking within that time frame, okay, is when we really began to hear other people jump on the bandwagon of that belts don't matter trope. And we started to hear other fighters around Devin begin to lament about belts not mattering. And soon, I'd say that by the time the young king became undisputed, of course, this cowardly mindset caught absolute fire within the totality of the discourse at the time. Facts or no, y'all remember this. It just overwhelmed the discourse at the time. Belts don't matter. Belts don't matter. Right? We couldn't get enough of that. People, it was a new language for it. Email champion, right? And then ultimately belts not mattering. This was the wave that caught on amongst the discourse of all the other cowards in the 135 division. Okay? So that we saw these chumps and their legion of imbecilic fanboys start to recite and start to regurgitate that inanity, so that it became a thing all of its own. It took on a life of its own within boxing. Because the overwhelming reality, brothers and sisters, was that the fighters who were starting to take on this language and parlance, the overwhelming reality was that they found themselves being absolutely left behind by the work that the young King Devin was putting in. And by the time young King became undisputed and cleaned out his goddamn division, brothers and sisters, the hate was on 10,000. So instead of competing on the level of the young king, they decided to castigate his accomplishments. And not only him, but they started to lambaste the concept of championship as a whole. Belts don't matter. They hated the young king so much that they started to defame the belts, brothers and sisters. Let that shit sink in. The belts We got to look at this. So that something so historic and necessary in boxing, something so paramount in boxing, started to, within this new era, because of people's vehement hate and disdain for Devin, the very thing that has always accredited a fighter, a warrior in this sport, was put on a fucking a chopping block. The very thing that gives credence to a fighter was sacrificed, or willing to be sacrificed, by other elite fighters who could not compete or did not want to compete with Devin. They were willing to sacrifice the very concept and essence of legacy just so that they can castigate and berate the path of the young king, brothers and sisters. Let's not sugarcoat this shit. Let's not sugarcoat this. That is what the fuck has been happening. And we see it. This is why you see all the fucking ducking and the goddamn invasion taking place right now. This is why we got all of these pussyfooting around and these fucking niggas clicking up like fucking BFFs, braiding each other's hair, wiping each other's asses, kissing each other's asses instead of fucking fighting, because they do not want to compete with the young King Devin, so that they will take any means, any road possible to avoid collision with him. They will click up and be friends. They will do anything. They will tiptoe and skirt around the smoke. They will avoid and bypass them, each other, their own legacies. Just to at all times remain 1,000 feet away from the possibility of facing young King Devin. All of this is an expression of that, even how they are avoiding and circumnavigating each other at the 140 division presently, brothers and sisters. All of that is an expression of their reticence to face Devin, because they know that that's naturally going to be expected of them, that they take it to the next level and face him. So that I posit to you today, beautiful people, that it was precisely because of the fear of the young king's stature that sparked this mentality among those that we consider to be notable young black fighters, i.e. your Shakurs, i.e. your Tank Davises, i.e. your goddamn Keyshawn Davises, and whoever is assuming that mentality, your Richardson Hitchens, your goddamn Antoine Russells. These niggas is fucking puss. That's all that this is. Devin's success, in other words, and steady climb and claim towards supremacy in boxing is what caused the inadvertent reticence, inhibition, and reservation towards championship as a whole among his contemporaries. These people who simply do not want or believe that they can keep up or compete on the level of Devin Haney. End of goddamn story. All right? That is what we are witnessing in real time. Let's go a little further, good family. I ask you a question. Did we hear people crying about belts not mattering, say, at the welterweight division within the last 5 years? I just want to paint a picture for y'all. Did anybody hear anybody, let's say, at welterweight within the last 5 years lament about belts not mattering in any way, shape, or form? Can anybody recall a fighter within that division saying belts don't matter? When Crawford was on his mission, did you hear him saying belts don't matter? Okay. When EJ was on his mission, do you guys recall EJ ever saying belts didn't matter? Right? Did we hear these types of laments, let's say at 154 within the last 5 years? Anybody heard that from any 154 pounder within the last 5 years? Did we ever hear Jamel Charlo, Tim Zoo, Erickson Lubin saying any fuckery like that at any time within the last 5 years, brothers and sisters? Please help me out. I need to know. Did anybody hear it? Let's bring it to the present, right? We ain't even got to look over there. Anybody presently hear anything like that being said? Let's say, I don't know, from Xander Zayas? Anybody hear him recently or ever say that belts don't matter? How about Josh Kelly? How about Josh Kelly? Did you once ever hear Bakaram say belts don't matter? Did anybody hear Majimov say belts don't matter? Let's go further. Has anybody heard Canelo, Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo posture in any way? Tony Harrison. I mean, we could run the gamut. Anytime, at any point, has anybody heard a lament against the claiming of belts, brothers and sisters? Can anybody account for that? So then, if not, we most certainly cannot say that this is a logic that is rampant in boxing. That's why I asked you that question, to paint the picture of how fucking ridiculous this notion is. And to show you and pinpoint to you that it is not an epidemic in boxing. It is very, 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 very particular to a particular sect. And it all goes back to a particular person that this is being attributed to. It's not an epidemic in boxing. And we cannot say that all black fighters have adopted it, because we just went through a list of some black fighters. So we can't say it's particular to our culture, as I had made the statement of earlier. But in looking at this example, good people, we can make a strong posit based on what we just went through. We can make a very strong posit that as it relates specifically to the young King Devin, that there is a consistent thread, a consistent line of consistent attempts to diminish the significance of championship within his weight classmen. Among his particular contemporaries, that is when this mentality magically fucking arises. It arises among the people specifically associated to and with Devin, is where you find this disease of a mentality running wild, and where this narrative is being spun. It is them, it is among his contemporaries and them alone, brothers and sisters, in boxing, who seem to all of a sudden have taken up an issue with being certified by a belt. It's them who have a particular issue all of a sudden with the certification of belts. Here we are in the year 2026, good people. And we are still hearing these echoes that was first spun about 5 or so years ago by Purple Pain, and that has since taken on a life of its own, and that is now so propagandized that it's become a normalcy within the mindsets and the parlance of the larger boxing community. Consider all of the things, brothers and sisters. Let's just look at this really quickly as well. Consider all of the things that the young king has accomplished in the last 5 years. Let's look at the last 5 or so year span and consider what has been accomplished by Devin Haney in that time period. The youngest undisputed champion in the history of the 4-belt era, and now a 3-division champion who is soon on his way to becoming unified in his second fight at the glory division of welterweight, brothers and sisters. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. The young king is out here working. He has not slowed down. He has not let up off the gas and showing no signs of easing up. Can you see now why these sassy ass, chump ass, bitch ass niggas have put on a sassy fucking bat signal out there calling against the elite warriorship of championship, the elite expression of championship, putting out a bat call against undisputed. Oh, I don't want to be undisputed. There's too much politics. Oh, I don't care about undisputed. I don't care about belts. We ain't even got a fucking fight for belts, is what these puss ass niggas are now talking about. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep it a stack today. We're gonna definitely keep it a stack today. As always. Let me take a sip of my water, y'all. You guys, this is so absolutely appalling to me on every level. These motherfuckers need to be zipped and packed the fuck up ASAP with this puss behavior. Now, let's get into a discussion that I wanted to highlight for us, for the good family who may have or may have not come across this particular segment that I came across, featuring Shooketh, the shook one, Shakur Stevenson, as I have now branded him, the shook one, Stevenson. Now, this brings me to the matter at hand that will further substantiate my argument, brothers and sisters, and hopefully elucidate as much as possible for you. Let's get into this. Shooketh Shakur Stevenson spins so many falsities, brothers and sisters, so many inconsistencies and divergences every other goddamn week that this nigga finds himself incapable of cleaning up his own messes. This nigga should get the fucking Chatty Patty Championship of the world out here. He takes the goddamn cake, brothers and sisters. Unable to account for each tale that he spins. Unable to account for each fib that he spits. Each fucking blunder. He spends so much of it, he cannot keep up. This man has swiftly become an embarrassment to boxing. Yes, I fucking said it. He swiftly allowed himself to become an embarrassment to boxing. The shook one Stevenson. Yes, absolutely. I have never in my boxing life, beautiful people, seen a man on a protest tour aimed at inculcating the public with the notion that they are, too demure and, so delicate and just so, tender and diminutive. I'm so small and petite, baby. Look at this waist. I'm so small, diminutive to compete with the fucking elites around one's division. I have never seen that in my boxing life. A man on an absolute fucking world tour, Michael Jackson status out here with the touring. Non-stop fucking touring about how small he is and why he shouldn't be competing with this person or that person, but can't keep this person or that person's dick out his fucking mouth. Every goddamn interview mentioning every name of the motherfucker he's supposedly too goddamn small for, brothers and sisters. What is going on? Enough is a goddamn enough. This is an absolute precedent for me as a boxing diehard. I have never seen anything like this. I have never in my boxing life seen something so bogus, something so spurious and insincere as this man's claims of being too small and diminutive. Ladies and gentlemen, I have watched this man for weeks on end, and I know y'all have as well. You've seen him weeks on end, getting on platform after goddamn platform since his win against Teofimo Lopez back in January. Talking absolutely non-stop about how he thinks he's the best, how he thinks he's done what he's done to the pinnacle, how small and tight his waist is, and how he could give Sugar Free even a run for her money with the snatch waist out here. Okay? He like, Sugar Free, child, please. I got you beat, girl, on the waist department. And I'm like, shit, nigga. Goddamn. The way you motherfucking talking, you just goddamn right. I need to have a fucking contest with Shakur Stevenson who got the most snatches waist. That's how much this man is on the campaign. He can give all the ladies a run for our money out here. The way this man is hooting and hollering about how small and pequeño and petite and tiny and tight he is. Excuse me? Crazy work. And we have also heard this man for weeks on end calling out the names of every man who he's not going to fight. Ain't that crazy? Calling the names of every man who is not in his own weight class, brothers and sisters. Please make that make sense to me. Because, the conscious community has been having a hard time processing and digesting this. That he is not calling for the smoke of the men in his division. Only the names of the men that he is alleging to be too big for him. This chump has been absolutely unrelenting with the bullshit and the folly. How many times have we called this nonsense out over the past few weeks, good family? Yet despite the reality being evident and known to us, this man is still sprinkling the stardust of his goddamn delusion all up and down these boxing streets, interview after interview after interview after fucking interview. And these niggas are allowing that shit to happen. Nobody's talking about it widespread. People are letting this man get away with this puss chump shit. It's crazy to me. No accountability whatsoever. None whatsoever outside of the conscious community. Nasty work. Let's get into this interview, brothers and sisters. The Shook One did an interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast. I believe it's called Nightcap, something like that. Something like that. Okay. He did an interview. Some of you may have seen that. Okay. And in viewing it, I can honestly say that every time the Shook One speaks, good people, the more wind is absolutely taken out of my sails. I'm not even capping. Okay. And I realize also that the probability of this man actually fighting notable elite comp, not only fighting Devin, but just in general claiming legacy and legendary status and supremacy in boxing is slim to none. I mean, real supremacy. I do not see that happening. This man just wants to talk. That's what he wants to do. He wants to talk. He wants to get the residual of greatness. He does not want to claim it. He wants the second-hand smoke of greatness. He wants to pass through it, but not claim it for himself. That's what I notice more and more as he speaks. He wants the play legacy. He wants to do it for the grand notion of success. The probability is looking anorexic to me that he will actually amass and attain that for himself. This man has made it abundantly clear to me that he does not want to compete with the best. He does not want to do that. He will call their names until he's hoarse, until he's blue in the face. But he does not want to compete with them. He does not want to earn his stripes by passing through fire. He wants to mirror and imitate the same cowardly, timid blueprint that Purple Payne Davis set out on, which was, right, to set about amassing attention and popularity via the public scope, right, and building a mythology around himself via mediocre competition. He wants to do that. He will do it that way. He will ride the mythology that the media train pushes and peddles as worthy of, attention or accreditation or adulation by the fans. He does not want to actually be in the thick of it. This is what the shook one is doing, brothers and sisters. And I called that shit out last year about his mirroring Purple Payne Davis and those antics. Now, this man, Shooketh Shakur Stevenson, in 25 fights, has only just defeated a significant opponent. Just now, one body on his resume, and that is Teofimo Lopez, which he just did 2 months ago. This man is 28 years old, and Teo was the best win of his career, and that was goddamn 2 months ago, people. He just now earned that. And suddenly, he's getting all this goddamn preferential treatment by the media, being put on pound-for-pound lists and the whole goddamn nine. And that's for beating a nigga that already got beat by George Kambosos. Wasn't no goddamn Kambosos on no goddamn top 3 pound-for-pound when he fucking defeated Teo. The math ain't goddamn mathin', but that's a whole nother story. Let's move on. The Shannon Sharpe interview that he conducted has once again, and without fail, presented more inconsistencies to the table from this man. And what's disturbing is that this motherfucker Shannon Sharpe, there was a lot of things disturbing about this interview if you guys have not seen it. But what was disturbing to me, one of the things, was that this goddamn Shannon Sharpe, is such a casual. He's such a casual that I don't even know, real talk, I don't even know how Shannon Sharpe qualifies, brothers and sisters, to have a fucking boxing discussion with a fighter at all. I don't even know how he qualifies at all to have a boxing conversation. How does this nigga get a boxing interview? But the real ones, Shakur Stevenson, he stays 1,000 feet away from the real motherfucking platforms that'll give him a real boxing discourse, that'll ask him some real pressing and hard-hitting questions, poignant, significant questions. He stays away from that shit like a fucking vampire stays away from fucking sunlight. But here he is hopping on fucking Shannon Sharpe's dick, talking a bunch of inanity that Shannon Sharpe is not even privy to because he is misinformed as a casual. He may like boxing and have liked boxing, but by the things that this man was saying, I was astounded by the things that Shannon Sharpe is. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And this is why Shakur was hopping all over that platform, jumping to get on that platform and these particular types of platforms. He stays away from the real ones at all time, even though he be lurking in comments, because I saw him, peeping Champside and complaining about Champside, pressing questions at him as to why he isn't unifying, why he isn't calling out people in his division. Shakur Stevenson is lurking all up and down Champside's comments, but won't pull up to the show. I digress. This man knows absolutely nothing, okay? That's Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is an absolute lamb. He's a lamb when it comes to boxing talk. He's not a boxing enthusiast like that. He has no real knowledge. He's not a historian, okay? He's totally helpless and uneducated from head to toe about boxing. You know what I mean? And it showed heavily in that particular interview. You guys, this man Shannon Sharpe posited in one particular portion of the interview. This man Shannon believed that the shook one Stevenson walks around at about 142 pounds. This is Shannon Sharpe, brothers and sisters. Shannon Sharpe believed that Shakur Stevenson couldn't possibly walk around in his natural walk around weight now. He said that Core could not walk around at more than 142 pounds, brothers and sisters. You can't make this shit up. You really just can't make this up. You can't make it up. Shannon said, quote, "You probably walk around, I'm assuming, at probably 140, 142, maybe. More like you're probably in the 130s. So you like Floyd. You got that Floyd syndrome. Floyd walked around at 150. He'd get down to 47 and tear everybody's asses up." That's the quote from Shannon Sharpe, brothers and sisters. He believes that Core walks around at no more than 140 pounds. Barely bigger than me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So this is the caliber of people whose platforms he is going on. And that is for a reason. There is a specific, calculated reason as to why he is circulating among and within these platforms. I mean, the imbecility was astounding, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who have not seen it, absolutely astounding. I ain't even gonna cap. I was sitting there and I'm like, what the hell does he mean that Shakur? This man said that Shakur is probably no more than 142, and he said that you probably even weigh 100 in the 130s. He thinks Shakur Stevenson is oh God, brothers and sisters. I'm absolutely befuddled. Befuddled. Absolutely befuddled. 130s? Me and Shakur Stevenson are twinning, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't that crazy? That's why I said we could do, we got to compare waistlines out here, me and Core Stevenson, to see who's the most snatched. It's absolutely diabolical out here. It's like, you're talking about Shakur Stevenson weighing somewhere in the 130s, 140s. This is the same fucking Shakur Shooketh Stevenson who fucking missed weight and was stripped of his belts on the scales for missing weight at goddamn 130. Now all of a sudden you think this nigga walking around 130, 140 fucking pounds? Make it make sense. And Shakur, of course, didn't say a goddamn thing because he's on his "I'm so tiny and tight" tour. He ain't gonna say shit. He's not gonna correct that. Couldn't make it up if I tried, ladies and gentlemen. Core is so much of a devious, manipulative chump that he allowed that man Shannon Sharpe to say that dumb shit and allowed him to delude himself and his listeners by stringing them along to these blatant lies and the blatant disinformation. Because the reality is that Shakur's entire motivation and aim in upholding the fallacy that he is so small and fucking pequeño is to justify his disgusting cowardice in facing the young King Devin ultimately. That is why he allows this to go on. That's why he's on the "I'm So Tiny" tour. Let's compare waist with Sugar Free tour. That's what the fuck time it is right now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, this, of course, was stated, the whole, guessing of his weight and talking about his weight was, of course, coming off of the point, or I should say the pointless discourse about him fighting Riri the racist. Okay? And you guys will see that if you go check out that interview. Now, once again, here we go talking about Riri the racist, brothers and sisters. Once again, here we got Shakur Stevenson finding it necessary, making it an absolute imperative in his Chatty Patty tour to promote once again the folly and inanity of claiming and alleging that he wants a fight with Riri the racist. Okay? The man that's allegedly too big for him to face normally at welterweight. Now, also notable to really shine a harsh light on here, good family, is that I have never in my days seen a fighter, just like I've never seen a fighter on a Chatty Patty tour to claim how small their waist is. I have never also seen a campaign fucking tour in the promotion of rehydration clauses more than I have from Shakur Stevenson. I have never fucking seen anything like this in my life from any goddamn fighter, even the fighters who have stipulated rehydration clauses, right? I mean, I've never heard rehydration clauses in general spoken about so goddamn much in my boxing life. What is this? Has anybody ever seen anything like this before in boxing? Am I missing something? I mean, I'm really seriously asking this question, good people. Have any of you seen anything like this before? This talk of rehydration clauses? This talk about how small and snatched one is for the reason why they cannot compete with their contemporaries and weight classmen? Honestly, I have never seen a fighter speak so much about a rehydration clause in my boxing life. This has got to be the most bizarre, the most outlandish, peculiar, and absolutely unusual behavior I have ever seen on this matter. No cap. And that is honest to God, y'all. I'm fucking serious. I've never seen anything like this in boxing. What the fuck is wrong with this man, Shakur? This shit is weird. It's crazy. It's absolutely preposterous on every level, y'all. What is this? I haven't even ever seen Shakur Stevenson talk this much on interviews, let alone hear him speak about no goddamn rehydration debacle as vehemently that this man has been doing on an absolute tirade about this stuff. Absolutely insane. Is he okay? Like, for real, is he okay? Interview after interview after interview after interview on the subject, brothers and sisters. And this motherfucker is not being held to the fire for this puss talk. How is this motherfucker not being called out for the puss talk? This man is just absolutely allowed to get away with this nonsense. Are you kidding me? 10 years ago, this shit would, he would have been absolutely obliterated by boxing diehards and fighters. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, those niggas would have ate him for fucking breakfast, lunch, and dinner for that chump talk. This is absolutely the softest, most diabolically frail shit I have ever seen, brothers and sisters. And niggas is acting like this shit ain't fucking happening in real time. This goddamn Shakur Stevenson is calling out men that he is lamenting about being too big for him, supposedly. But he is incessantly calling out and clout chasing their names. What is going on? Why is it these people's names in this man's mouth if he does not want to fight them, if they are too supposedly big for him? Why are you calling out these men's names and riding the coattails of welterweights if you don't think you're a welterweight? Sassy ass, chatty patty ass, goddamn clout chasing chump. You don't want to fight these men at their best, so you stipulate that you would only fight them with a rehydration clause. Why the fuck are you on the mountaintop calling for the smoke if you don't want to fight them at their best and beat them at their goddamn best? Pussy! This nigga is fucking a walking, living contradiction because he's acting like he wants the smoke. And he's saying, well, I'll do everything to diminish you so that I don't really get the full thrust of that smoke. Just the tip of the smoke looking ass. Fuck out of here. Shakur Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen, set up in that interview talking to Shannon Sharp about wanting to fight Riri the racist and, of course, stipulating that hydration clause like he runs shit. That's another thing that just bewilders me. Like he runs shit, like he will tell Ryan any goddamn thing. Like he will mandate and make Riri adhere to this rehydration clause. This man is absolutely deluded in assuming that Riri would even be able or willing to fight at 140, regardless of what Riri said on social media. It doesn't matter. That man says a lot of goddamn things. Don't mean he's gonna fucking follow through. You know this motherfucker's a fucking coward and fickle. Riri has never fought at the 140 weight, brothers and sisters. Never. He's only ever fought above 140 pounds. What the fuck is Shakur thinking? That all of a sudden he's going to dwindle himself down and deplete himself for the sake of fighting Shakur Stevens? Who the fuck is he? This is the man that cheated the young King Devin and blew the weight that was contracted to be held at 140. Blew that. He also fought Duarte at 143. Okay? And he fought Rolly at welterweight, as we know. And of course, he just fought Barrios at welterweight. Who the fuck is Shakur think he's talking to? What is he talking about? Talking about, oh, he did an interview and said he'd fight me at 140 pounds. He said he'd fight me at 140 pounds. This is Shakur. And what was crazy was that even the casual ass Shannon Sharp, who is a hella casual, even his ass was astounded looking at Shakur saying some dumb shit like that. Shannon Sharp said, you know that he ain't making no damn 140. This is the Shannon Sharp, the casual. And here goes Shakur dumbass talk about, we don't know that. We don't know what he could do. He said he would fight me at 140. I'm just going off of his words. So if he said it, what am I supposed to do? You hear this? You know, the fact that this is even a conversation is in and of itself mind-blowing and dumbfounding to me. This motherfucking Shakur Stevenson is saying that we cannot supposedly assume that Ryan can't make 140. So now we're assuming that Ryan can't make 140, even though all the fucking proof and the evidence of the last, I don't know how many years has shown, right, that Riri the racist has never fought at 140. What the fuck do you mean assume? We're not assuming shit. The fucking proof is in the goddamn pudding. He's never fought at 140. Nor has he attempted to make the effort to fucking fight at one goddamn 40. For heaven goddamn sake, brothers and sisters, his first title shot was contracted at the 140 weight with Devin. This was a title shot, and that nigga blew it. He blew the chance to fight for a title because he did not want to make 140. He blew his first title shot, the most significant fight of his career up until that point. He blew it and came in 3 pounds over that weight limit against the young King. For a title shot, brothers and sisters. Who the fuck does Shakur think he is to tell us that we are assuming anything when Ryan didn't give a damn when it came to his first shot at a title? That he's all of a sudden going to, have a heart and become a champion heart to face you. Crazy work, you guys. Shakur Stevenson then went on to reiterate that he, if he was to fight Conor Benn at 140 with the rehydration clause, like he would mandate that with Conor Benn. He tried to seem at that particular moment, I don't know if you guys recall this. Oh, well, I'm taking a heroic, this is the air that he's putting on, that he is taking on this type of heroic mission that if he ever faced Conor Benn, he would stipulate that, he put the rehydration clause on him because of what he did, because of what Ben did to Eubank when they fought. So this is the air he's taking on. Oh, I would do it to him because he did that to Eubank. This is a quote from Shakur. He says, no, I want to fight Conor at 147 with the rehydration because he did that to Eubank. And the world kind of like gave him credit for the win. But at the end of the day, Eubank kind of drained himself in the ring. So let him deal with it with me. Right? So that you hear this type of redemptive type of air he's taking on. Like, well, you did that to somebody. Well, let's see how you feel if I did it to you. This is the stance he's trying to posture, brothers and sisters. Right? So that here's another contradiction, however. Here's another goddamn contradiction that I'm going to point out to you guys. Okay? So now he's supposing that him facing Conor Benn with the same clause that he gave Eubank is going to be somehow to show him what it feels like in essence, right? But how the fuck does he justify the rehydration debacle when he's accounting for a fight with Riri the racist? How the fuck does the mentality of, oh, I'm going to be retribution mentality that he's trying to assume, how the fuck does that apply to fighting the young King Devin? They don't need no goddamn retribution. So how does that logic suffice when it comes to those two men? You want to fight Counter Ben for those heroic reasons you're trying to wave your cape in the wind for? Okay. How the fuck does that apply to Dev? How the hell does that even apply to racist Riri? That's why I say that this nigga does so much capping, filibustering, and bamboozling, right? That he's subject to being mystified by his own dement. He trips over his own feet every single time. He does all of this goddamn talking and stands on absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not to mention that he initially stated that he will face Counter Ben at 154 and said nothing of a rehydration clause. He later tried to retract that statement and clean it out when he was getting the backlash for trying to even assume or think about having a fight with somebody and bypass completely a fight with Devin. Okay. Now, Sharp brought up something in the interview. He brought up Devin in the interview, and he had asked Shakur. Did you guys see this part? This is what Shannon Sharp said. Shannon Sharp says, "Hold on. Devin Haney said he wants some. What's up with you and Dev? Y'all can bang at 140?" That's what Shannon Sharp asked Core. And Core says, with this, slick grin on his face, knowing that he absolutely wants no goddamn smoke with the young King Devin, right? But trying his best to put on his poker face like he would, right? And Shakur Stevenson asks, well, where did he say that at? Where did he say that at? He's asking Shannon Sharp, where did Devin say that he wanted some smoke with him? What you mean, where the fuck did he say that at? You know good and goddamn well that Devin put you on a hit list a year ago, you sucker. Fuck you mean, where did Devin say that at? You know he's gunning for your ass. And you know that barely a month ago, he called not only for you, but your BFF/boy toy, Keyshawn. He called for both of you niggas' heads on the plate and said that both of you sassy, chatty, patty ass niggas can get it. Hell you talking about, where did he say that at? You know. You know exactly where he said that. And how many times he said it. This motherfucker sat in his seat looking like he was about to say, I'm tired. Just the thought and the mention of Devin's name made him look like he was going to say, I'm tired. Fuck out of here. Anyway, Shannon Sharp, he goes on to tell Shakur that he saw them sparring together and stuff like that. He's like, listen, I'll call Bill to make that fight happen right now. And Shannon Sharp goes on to ask, he says something like, well, Devin Haney says he wants anybody in the 140 division. Now, once again, brothers and sisters, Shannon Sharp is an absolute casual, right? So he's misconstruing the information, okay? Devin didn't say he wants anybody at 140. He has people in 140 on his list, but they are specific names of people who have been calling him out and people that he's been having the back and forth with over a particular type of time. So Sharp got that a little bit misconstrued, and he wasn't able to necessarily, articulate that in its proper context. But what ends up happening in the next following moments is that Sharp ended up putting Shakur in a trap with the statement that he followed up with. So as Shakur Stevenson motions to correct Shannon Sharp and tell him, well, Devin is at 140. Shannon Sharp says, he come down for you. That's what he says to Shakur about Devin. He says, he'd come down for you. And Shakur replies, well, if he comes down, let's make it happen. And this is the part where he seemed to be a little bit entrapped by what Shannon said. Shannon then goes on to say, well, why would you said that you could fight at 147. Why don't you go up and see him? Right? And so immediately the cowardice was exposed, and Core then starts to revert back to his crutch of the rehydration clause. And he says, well, I just told you, if I fight at 147, what comes with it? Right? The entire energy changed in that split moment, brothers and sisters, mind you. All of that smiling and kikiing and laughing and grinning, absolutely changed when it came to him facing Devin and the prospect of him facing Devin. He kind of sobered up in that moment and says, well, I already told you what comes with it if I fight at 147. Right? So now Shakur, in an effort then to make an attempt to seem fair, he tries to clean up his cowardice that was obviously exposed once again. And he tries to say, he tries to clean up how absolutely absurd he sounds in positing a rehydration clause in general. And he says something like, but, we could fight at a catch weight. We could fight at a catch weight. If any 147 pounder wants to fight me at 144, I'm down with that. I'd be cool with that. And Shannon Sharp then asked him, well, would that include a rehydration clause? And Core says no rehydration clause if we fight at 144. And Shannon Sharp, he goes on and sets another trap. I don't think he was aware of what he was doing, right? But another trap was set. And he says, but there ain't no belts at 144. So you just want to fight? Sharp didn't even know that he hit the jackpot with that questioning. There's not even a belt. There's no straps at 144. So even a casual is looking at this and seeing the inanity and the inconsistency and honestly the pointlessness of it. It's like you want to fight with a rehydration clause, right? So you're already putting this fighter or looking to put a fighter in a compromised position so that you can have an advantage. And then you then suggest a catch weight where there wouldn't even be any significance or legacy on the line. And Shakur pokes his chest out and starts to try to defend that ridiculous stance of fighting for no belt at a catch weight. And he says, well, what we need the belts for? We the names. Why we need the belt? Brothers and sisters, it was at this point that my stomach was just like, oh God. It's just absolutely disgusting to me, you guys. Okay? He then says, if we fight at 144, would you show up and watch? That's what he asked Shannon Sharp. So now he's trying to justify, beautiful people, the matter of fighting for no belts because he's saying ultimately, well, people will watch it anyway. So then Shannon Sharp says, well, what you mean? If you fought Devin Haney? And Cora's like, yeah, if we fought at 144 with no belt on the line, you would watch, right? And Shannon says yes. And Shakur says, okay, then we good. Now, I need us to be very mindful of what is being done and the position that this coward Shakur is taking, brothers and sisters. This is Shakur Stevenson, you guys, the man that is now raving about having become a 4-division champion, right? This is him in his lust while he's on his Chatty Patty tour. I'm a 4-division champion now, right? This is the man that said that should he ever fight Devin, it will be at a catch weight for no belt. And he is also the man who said, oh, well, if Devin goes to 154 to fight Xander Zayas, he's trying to be like me in becoming a 4-division champion. He said that not too long ago. So that his idea of championship is used and abused at his whim and at his leisure. He wants all the accreditation of being called a 4-division champion. He wants to mock Devin for the idea of going to fight Xander Zayas at 54 and becoming a 4-division champion himself, saying that, oh, I think he would just try to be, like me if he were to do something like that. So championship is important on one hand, but absolutely insignificant on the other. Championship at his convenience, ladies and gentlemen. But the moment that actual legacy would be on the line in the biggest fight, in the biggest matchup of his entire life in facing the young king, all of a sudden, he wants to put the belts down and fight naked, essentially. No straps, no merit, no purpose, no stakes, nothing to gamble. Somebody make that make sense to me, brothers and sisters. Belts matter to him at every other time. He wants to sit on a pedestal. He wants to admire his number 3 stature on the pound for pound list, admire people calling him now a 4-division champion. But when it comes to the actual legacy, the biggest fight that he could make in his career, all of a sudden, he is willing to jettison and bypass the belts. Math ain't mathin'. What the fuck is this? Nothing can make that make sense to me. The most paramount, gargantuan fight of your life is the one that you would fight for no fucking title? Somebody explain this to me ASAP. Only when it comes to Devin is this man willing to bypass legacy? I want to divulge that point, ladies and gentlemen. I want to stay there, right at the pinnacle of this. Because it brings me right back to the points of belts all of a sudden not mattering, quote unquote, magically losing their weight and stature and significance. Only when it pertains to the young King Devin. Only when Devin is the topic and the focus of discussion. These niggas are some straight pussies. Straight up marks. Straight up doges. Only when it comes to Dev do we get this mindset pushed. I'll even go further, brothers and sisters. The reality is that this man, Shakur Stevenson, knows good and goddamn well that Devin Haney is a legacy fighter. Everybody knows that. He is no exception. He is absolutely aware of that. There is no secret about it. Devin Haney is a legacy fighter. He is not one of these chump-ass, sassy-ass dudes out here, making it clap for the gram. You know what I'm saying? Doing it for the gram, doing it for a click and a follow. Young King is serious about his business. Unlike all of these chatty patty ass niggas out here clowning and pump faking like some hoes for a like. Legacy is his mission. Shakur Stevenson is using the fact that Devin Haney is a legacy fighter to avoid him because he knows that the straps, that the belts, and the claiming of supremacy via championship is the Young King's entire goddamn mission. He knows that. That is why he is positing that they don't fight for the belts, because he knows the belts are the very thing that Devin is claiming and hungry for. Tell me I'm lying, brothers and sisters. Tell me you don't see that. Championship is Young King Devin's entire aim and mission, just like the great giants before him. That is why he is a throwback fighter. That's why he got that old school spirit. Because legacy matters to him. This fucking chump Shakur Stevenson, the shook one, absolutely knows that. He knows that Devin Haney is not interested in fighting for some chump-ass, meaningless-ass reason. He is not interested in doing nothing for no goddamn gram when it comes to the solidification of his supremacy in boxing. This man wants his name in the damn history books, right next to the men who inspired him, the men who he's learned from, and the men who he carries the torch into the future for, brothers and sisters. Shakur thinks he's slick by making that posit because he's then going to put Devin in his mind in a position where it's like, well, Devin won't fight Shakur at a catch weight like we've heard all of these sucker-ass fanboys out here trying to wave the flag for. Well, why don't he just go down to 144? Why he don't fight Core at 143? Why he don't go down to 142? Why he don't meet him at 140? And so forth and so on. He is trying, in other words, brothers and sisters, to trick the boxing public out of our love and demand the natural demand that we have in seeing legacy in motion, fights being fought for the solidification of legacy. He is trying to trick us out of that position. And he is trying to supplant it with the notion, the insidious notion, that belts don't matter when elite Black warriorship is on the line. We can bypass legacy when it comes to elite Black fighters, so long as the money's right. We're the big names. Who says we need the belts? Why we got to do it for the belts? You would watch it anyway, right? Do you see where I'm going with this, brothers and sisters? Are you following? Let's go deeper. The Shook One Stevenson made no such posit about not fighting for belts when it came to facing Teofimo Lopez. Did anybody hear an offer to fight Teo for no strap? Did he offer a catchweight proposition to Teofimo Lopez for no strap? Or did he fight Teo for that strap? When Loma was a champion, right? When he wanted to face him before Loma fought Devin, and he was like, motioning for that Loma fight. Did Shakur Stevenson make a motion for Lomachenko to jettison his strap? Did he do that? Did he ask him to bypass and put down his trap? He didn't ask him to put down his strap. Just for the hell of it, Loma, let's fight for a strap. Let's fight for no strap. Let's just do it for no strap. Did he make that motion? I'll even go a step further, ladies and gentlemen, to say that at this point, Shakur Stevenson has gone a level beyond even the inanity of Purple Pain Davis to me at this point. He has gone beyond that with this nonsense that he is on. He is worse than Purple Pain Davis, and that's saying a lot. I have never heard Purple Pain Davis on some type of campaign boasting about how small his waist was. Okay? With all the selfies and all the straight perms and all the hair grease and all the goddamn, tattoos that his fanboys want to kiss and lick up on his thighs. I never heard that man on a campaign about how tiny his waist was, about how he wants to compare waist with SugarFreeMars. Okay? I've never heard him calling niggas names, alleging that they're too big for him, but calling their names out and saying that, but you're too big for me to fight. Even when he was spewing the nonsense about the email champions and the belts don't matter, I have never once heard that man say about any of his contemporaries that they were too big. And Purple Pain Davis is about fucking 5'2" at best. And he ain't been on no goddamn campaign tour about how he's too small, but can't keep other dudes' names out his mouth. Purple Pain Davis absolutely wanted the residue of championship tied to his name. Even him going up to 140 to face Barrios, that was for a regular belt, but he wanted the residue of championship, attributed and attached to his name, even though that was not for the actual super belt. He didn't go up there to fight Barrios for absolutely nothing, right? At least the regular belt was something on the line. But here goes Shakur Stevenson, the Shook One. After wanting all the glory of calling himself a quote-unquote multi-division champion, now saying that he'd prefer to fight the young king, the biggest fight of his life, for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And he thinks that shit is cute. Why do we need the belts? We the names. So that the campaign against Black championship, the campaign for anti-Black championship, is fully operative in this instance for us to see. Because he is facing, when it comes to the young King Devin, a fighter who is totally and solely about championship and legacy. But the fact that this man would posit that's such a significant fight, not only for his career and even Devin's career as well, because it is not one-sided. That is a significant fight for the young king as well, to face Shakur Stevenson, to face Tank Davis. Their names have been, synonymous with each other for a decade. We have been calling for these fights for nearly a decade, beautiful brothers and sisters. You know what I'm talking about. This is the significance. This is the heart of boxing. Seeing those beautiful brothers get it in with each other and clash swords. We have been calling passionately for those fights, nonstop, unrelentingly for those fights, so that he knows the weight and significance of them and what they mean to the culture. In addition to the entirety of the sport for this era and the solidification of this era's greatness, because that's the very thing that this era has been missing. Devin Haney cannot be the only one. And that is why he is so adamantly calling to compete with those around him that are considered to be the best. That is how you get made. But to see them all intermingle, all exchange with each other is the goal. That's the point. It is the best fighting the best that we care about. And so we see the refraining from that, the willful, deliberate recoiling away from that. That has to be put into high question. And then we also see the reverberation of that even outside of the context of Devin Haney, right? We see it among each other. The not wanting to stamp their championship among and within each other at 140. Right? Tiptoeing around each other. We got Gary Russell whispering sweet nothings, talking so softly and tenderly about Shakur Stevenson, Antoine Russell. What is going on? Oh, I'm a student of the game. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to fight him. Oh, maybe I'll fight him last because I think he's just building his name up and I think he's doing things right. He's on the right path and coming up. And this nigga's on your fucking turf. The fuck you talking so softly for? Then you got Richardson Hitchinson going around, talking about all the love letters he done wrote Tank Davis, all the love letters he done wrote Shakur, and how they stay up at 2 a.m. talking to each other, asking each other what the other's wearing. What is happening? What is happening? Not to mention the goddamn, the dynamic goddamn duo with Core and Keyshawn vowing and professing their goddamn love for each other to never fight. What is going on? Is anybody going to goddamn unify at 140, ladies and gentlemen? If y'all don't want the smoke with Devin, which is absolutely evident to me, right? What the fuck is happening with the smoke time where y'all at? Because my thing is, y'all shouldn't even be calling Devin's name for any goddamn reason. Because none of y'all are about that. None of y'all are like that. Y'all don't want it with the guy. So stop calling for him. Because you know he gonna circle that block. You start talking and bopping your gums too loudly, he gonna come looking for you. Y'all don't want those problems, obviously. You suckers proved that already. Motherfuckers started streaming after calling Devin's name out and seeing the young king turn and say, what's popping? Motherfucker ran to fucking fight Blueface. Niggas is fighting rappers. Niggas are turning to fucking streamers and goddamn YouTubers to avoid that heat and that pressure. So it's obvious that they don't want the fucking smoke. All right, fine. What's popping with the motherfucker next to you? Why are you tiptoeing around him? What is going on? You niggas are fucking playing hopscotch and double dutch with each other, braiding each other's hair and giving each other motherfucking, advice on what fucking lipstick complements their goddamn complexion. Who's gonna goddamn unify at 140? Is undisputed even a thing anymore at 140 in boxing with these fucking young niggas? What are these young niggas doing? these up-and-coming black fighters, the people who have the spotlight on them now? Why is there a recoiling from Black Elite Championship being expressed? Why are they imposing a stance, an anti-stance for Black Championship? Why is that happening? Why aren't their feet being held to the fire widespread throughout the boxing community? I certainly care about Black Elite Championship and warriorship in boxing. Y'all have to go through each other to claim supremacy. Best fighting the best. There is no way around that. These niggas want to be fucking friends. They want to sit down and sip lemonade and get manicures and kiss each other's fucking hands and fucking feet. They do not want to do battle. Why are these niggas even holding straps? Some of them, for the ones that are. And why are these niggas even getting attention when they're on that type of puss, chump ass time? We got to start reconsidering who we are deeming to be worthy, who we are assuming and alleging to be worthy, because they are proving otherwise. Something got to be done. These people are playing in the face of Black Elite Championship. They are defaming it, and even going to the extent to outrightly tell us that belts don't matter. And they are being upheld for that, brothers and sisters. They are being given camera time and podcast time and pound for pound time even. What the fuck is going on? And it is particular to Black fighters. Like I said, we do not see this being pushed or paraded around among any other culture in boxing. But somehow we are supposed to accept that. We are supposed to express that. How is that acceptable? And in what way does that aspect work towards the benefit of our legacy in boxing? It looks to me like it's fucking destroying it. We got to ask some serious questions. Serious questions. Let me check in with the good family to get your thoughts. I wanted to get all of that out today, you guys, because no, very, very problematic stuff to me. Let me scroll. Well, I guess I'll start from the most recent and then I'll work my way up because I don't want to miss what you guys are saying in real time. I see a lot of comments were being had. Salute to the good family. Infinite blessings to anyone who came in that I didn't see. Let's see who we have. Salute King Snoopy. I see you in the building. Blessings to you. Salute, salute to Ruben in the building. He says that Black Warrior shit I totally get, for real, no cap. Oh, do you? I hope you do. I hope you do. If you're a Black boxing fan. You know what I mean? Salute to the King Bud in the building. I see you. Queen Mama Love is extending some fire. Okay, which means she is feeling it. Infinite blessings to the Queen Mama Love. What did the Great Mike say? Great Mike says, feels like Shakur got to Gary with his buddy BS. The poison has already got him. Yes. Yes, it has. It certainly has. Unfortunately. He's so soft-spoken when it comes to Shakur Stevens. I'm like, what is going on? And I had tweeted about that some weeks ago as well. Like, why is he talking so softly about Shakur Stevens? This man is, he entered your division and earned a strap. This man should be looked at as absolute food. He is on your turf in your backyard and with a strap. You're not saying, oh, this nigga got to see me. I'm trying to see this dude. Where's the heat at? Where is the heat at? This man, talks so soft. You thought he was about to ask Shakur on a date. The way he was speaking so softly about Shakur Stevenson when asked about him. In whatever interview that I have seen and come across within these past few weeks or so, since Shakur earned a belt against Tio. It's diabolical to me how these men are swerving each other. Right? But they all got smoke for Devin. Ain't that interesting? That's another interesting thing. Nobody wasted any time calling Devin's name. You can keep Devin's name out of any of these dudes' mouths. But they're also reticent and friendly and passive and sensitive and tender with each other. Y'all know what smoke look like because y'all try to pump your chest up anytime Devin Haney, you want to ride the Devin Haney train, bandwagon and clout train. It's insidious work, you guys. Every time I think about it, insidious work. Salute to the King Freedom in the building. Infinite blessings to you. I'm just working my way up, you guys. Salute. Yes, Ramello. Math ain't goddamn mathin'. My twin says facts. To be honest, Tank never said he was too small. Exactly. His Tankomaniacs were the ones saying that. Exactly. We never heard Tank get out there and say anything so ridiculous as that. Right? About his contemporaries, especially. He never said anything like that. Oh, this person that's my contemporary is too big for me. I cannot fight this person. I cannot fight that person. It's weird. Absolutely weird. Salute to the Preacher Man. Preacher Man says, Queen, I am not surprised because don't forget he turned down Undisputed at 35 with Dev. Yes. Yes, indeed. The King Caldwell is in the building. Infinite blessings to you, Caldwell. He says, Core is trying his best to mimic Bud. Notice belts became irrelevant to him, coincidentally and situationally as Bud, and simultaneously as Bud when he came out about it. Yeah. And that's what me and the King Stephen were talking about yesterday as well, right? The mirroring and reflecting that mindset about belts not mattering and the Bud being stripped, and then Shakur having the same complaints to the WBC about the being stripped and the not paying the fees and this, that, and the third. Yeah. Very interesting. Salute to Plybell in the building. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. He says Cook. Yes, indeed. I'm on the job, King. On the job. Who the Goat is in the building. Salute to the King. Who the Goat. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Yes, I see the family cooking with each other. Yes, great Mike, trying to con the public. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? I thought it was absolutely imperative for us to point this out because it's a very weighted topic of discussion that I have not really heard at all about how the shook one, Stevenson, knows that Devin Haney is a legacy fighter and that he fights for belts. He does not fight meaninglessly. He does not fight without purpose, right? So that every fight that he takes has to serve the purpose towards the alignment of championships, the solidification of straps, and his place as a champion, right? Whether that's unified, whether that's becoming undisputed again, right? We know the significance of that to him. He has become undisputed already. And of course, he is well on his way to becoming undisputed again at welterweight. That is the vision. That is the mission. Okay. He does not do these things haphazardly. Okay. And so Shakur Stevenson positing that they fight for no belts is a direct, like a little jab and a stab taken at Devin because he knows that Devin fights for belts, fights for championship. He knows that. Everybody knows that. And it's something that he himself, says that he puts value on and places value within. Yet he will absolutely bypass and jettison the idea of fighting for a belt against the biggest fight he could fight in his career outside of Tank Davis. There are only two legendary fights to be had for Shakur Stevenson. That is the Young King and that is Tank Davis. We don't know what's going on with Tank Davis, right? If he will be seriously returning or what condition he will return in. considering everything that, the whole debacle of his personal life and antics or whatever have you. But that Devin Haney is unquestionably the only other competitor that Shakur Stevenson can fight in his lifetime. That's no exaggeration. In his lifetime, that will pose a level of significance unparalleled. And he is motioning to fight that man for no belt. It's just, it's absolutely disgusting. That's really all I can say. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Salute to the King Stephen, not Stephen X, Freedom's March in the building. Infinite blessings to you, King. Yes, great Mike. Absolutely. That's all Shakur has been doing lately is conning the public. 1000%. I think I got some super chats, good people. Hold on. Let me shout out the people who supported the channel today. Infinite blessings to Ron Ya in the building. Infinite blessings, King. He says, talk yo ish, Queen. Much respect. Blessings. Infinite peace to you, King. Thank you so much for joining. And definitely thank you for the support towards the work and towards the vision. I appreciate you. Infinite love to my queen, Mama Love. Jaquila Fields with the love. Thank you so much, Mama Love. She says, Sunday evening cook with the warrior queen, calling out the clowns in boxing. Flame them, sugar free. I'm on the job, Mama Love. Thank you so much for your constant and continued support of the work here. Appreciate you so much. You already know what time it is. Infinite blessings to my twin, Daryl Anderson, 10 toes with the love this evening. He says, just some color in the chat for a flaming cook this Sunday. Twin temporarily turned winter into summer with this one. Infinite blessings to my twin. I appreciate you so much for your words, for the encouragement, and of course, the undying support that you show. I really appreciate you, King. You already know what time it is. Who else we got here? Oh my goodness, we got the King Freedom, big stepping with the support. He says, salute to the Queen. I will be in New York next week. We'll be meeting Drew and hopefully Blue in person. Hopefully I can get a sweet but sugar-free hug from the counterpart. Maybe. Keep me posted, King. It'll be interesting to allot some time out to link up with you guys depending on the day. Definitely keep me informed. Be wonderful to see you in person. Yeah, New York is, I'm ready to get out of New York, and here you are on your way to New York, right? But infinite blessings to you. Thank you so much for your continued support. And of course, it'll be wonderful to meet you, at any time. So infinite blessings to the King Freedom with the support and the love. I appreciate you. Oh, I think we got another one. Did we? Yes. Oh my goodness. We got some love from the Queen, Karma, the Queen in the building. Big stepping. Infinite blessings to my beautiful sister Karma. She says, salute to the Queen, sugar-free Mars. Keep cooking and teaching, Queen. Infinite blessings to you. Thank you so much, beautiful sis. So wonderful to have you in the building. Always lovely to see the beautiful sis. I love my sister energy. Listen, y'all, I don't play when my sisters are on deck. You know what I'm saying? Infinite love to my sis Karma in the building with that wonderful energy and that beautiful spirit that she has. I appreciate you big. Thank you so much, sis. Appreciate you. Yeah, let's see what else we have in here. I'm just checking. I'm just scrolling through you guys' comments to see maybe some points that I was missing. Okay, I think I got that. Let me scroll up. Salute to anybody I may have missed. Like, oh, we got Jay the Man in the building. Salute to the King Jay Man. I see you, King. The King Patrice says, Core could get your hand-me-downs and he'd probably wear it too. He probably would. He really probably would, just to prove to me that we are the absolute same size out here. Ain't that crazy, King Patrice? I'm tired of this man. I'm so tired of that man and the motherfucking I'm so tiny tour. It's crazy work. Yes, twin. Yeah, we can trade clothes. We are definitely twinning out here. Apparently, according to his ass, we're twinning. Diabolical work, you guys. And nobody can make it make sense. Nobody can make it make sense. None of his fanboys can make it make sense to me, even though they are, out on a mission to prove, this man's innocence in all of this, to prove his spotlessness and blamelessness in all of this craziness that he is walking around spewing. It's insane to me, you guys. It's insane, you know? And at what's at stake here is how we view Black championship. Why is that being run amok? Why is it acceptable to run this amok? Well, I posit that there has always been an agenda, right? Against, there has always been a stance, an anti-Black championship stance, within boxing to in some way discredit or diminish the severity and the importance and real talk, the supremacy and dominance of our stature in boxing because we dominated so thoroughly, right? Because we, stand at the helm of it and always have historically, right? And so in this era, this is just a new attempt to do that. And unfortunately, we have conspirators, Black people themselves, Black fighters themselves, who are joining in on the bandwagon to uphold that inanity. We see people like Keyshawn Davis and did you guys see that sassy ass face off that they just had? I came across it online before I went live that they had this face off and Keyshawn Davis and Riri Garcia are motherfucking neck and neck and Ryan's looking like he about to kiss that man's neck. That's how close they are, right? And so that he would show this friendliness and extend this friendliness to a racist, filthy drug cheat, a filthy counterfeit drug cheat, degenerate, right? But want to pump his chest and stomp his feet in any way that he can find to defame and discredit Black warriorship, right? He wants to be in association with a filthy racist rather than being in association with elite warriorship via fighting and proving his own stature next to somebody like Devin Haney. He would rather defame that. He doesn't want to be in association with greatness by fighting greatness. He wants to berate and clout chase that, but remain in association with a filthy fucking drug cheat, brothers and sisters. Make that make sense to me? It cannot. It cannot make sense to me. Same thing with the shook one. Constantly calling out the name of Ryan Garcia. Lovingly talking about him. But quick to defame Devin. Oh, he recently said something like, oh, well, a scared fighter. I think it was on a Fat Joe podcast. A scared fighter is always going to fight scared, but they're the trickiest type of thing. Insinuating that Devin Haney fights scared, all because Fat Joe, old fat ass, decided to land-base Devin in that moment. And here goes Shakur Stevenson, quick to oblige. Well, if he's so fucking scary, why don't you fight him? Why are you doing everything to dissuade that fight from being materialized on realistic terms and on realistic grounds? You begging and demanding for a rehydration clause against a man who was just in your weight class, who became undisputed in your weight class, who you ducked and offered to become undisputed against. If he's so scary, why you don't fight him? Why didn't you fight him then when he was on your turf? You see what I'm saying? Disparities are everywhere, brothers and sisters, and it's quite sickening. It's quite sickening indeed. Yes, beautiful sister. Fraudulent champion. Yes, King Stephen. That's what it looked like to me. Okay. Did you see my Twitter post? I took a snapshot of it. I'm like, what in the sassy fucking hell is going on here? This man dipping low, looking like, getting all close to that man's neck. I was like, damn, he's trying to get all up in the nook of that man's necticles. Like, what? Why do you want to be all up in that man's necticles like that? Absolutely wild work, you guys. You really can't make it up. The King Freedom came back with some love. Yes, he did. He says, can someone explain how people have Core above Devin on any pound for pound list? How is this even possible? How has Core demonstrated he is better? Exactly. And in the earlier portion of the show, I had touched upon that, right? That he had become all of a sudden a pound for pound number 3 fighter in all of the world for defeating the man who was defeated by the man that Devin defeated twice. Right? Interesting stuff. Even though we don't really sit on triangle theories, but like Devin said not too long ago in his own Twitter post, it all leads back to me, right? But that's that favoritism that Shakur Stevenson is being extended right now because he is willing to stand in opposition to what they consider to be a threat, which is, the mission that the young king is on right now in claiming and amassing upright legacy, upright supremacy and championship in boxing. It is because he is standing in opposition to that they give him and pedestalize him, give him this acceptance and pedestalize him in this particular way. That's what I posit as a contributing factor. You know what I mean? Exactly. Pugilism. Loma doesn't even get credit for Camposis. Right. Crazy work, you guys. I think I will end it there for now. I know I really went. King Caldwell, I see you, King. I see you, sweetie. Thank you so much for gracing the channel. I appreciate you. I saw you earlier, but I just saw this. I wanted to shout you out again. I appreciate you, King. I appreciate all of you guys. I will end it here. You guys, I don't want to hold you all too long. I know I was cooking for a good while, but like I said, it was very imperative that we bring this discussion to the forefront and that we speak as openly as possible. And I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on it because it is so jarring a notion. It is so jarring a concept. And honestly, the landscape is jarring right now, considering all the things that we see and the operating against elite Black championship and how we see all of these. We see the expression of Black championship being stifled and stultified among Black fighters themselves via the avoiding that we see taking place, not only with Devin being ducked, but that we see these other fighters who are, forming, I don't know, some type of powwow with each other, are also avoiding the certification of their own legacies because they are avoiding each other, and how that works against Black championship in boxing. These motherfuckers don't even realize what the fuck they're doing. I mean, they know what they're doing, but how that is affecting boxing as we know it, and how that's going to impact the future of Black elite expression and championship. As far as boxing future is concerned, the future of boxing, right? They're not thinking about the long-lasting impact of their present actions. And that's problematic for me. But I'll end it there for now, you guys. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for coming for the cook. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. Definitely hit the like button. I made it a point to remember that just now. Hit the like button on your way out if you guys have not. Definitely share the content if you enjoyed our discussion today. Also, definitely consider becoming a member of the channel, right? As I have some things in store that I am planning to get underway for you guys exclusively for members. So definitely consider becoming a member, share the content. And yes, I will see you guys on the next one. Have a wonderful, prosperous, peaceful week ahead. Keep in touch with me, of course, throughout the week on my community page. If you guys are not on following me on Twitter, definitely follow me on Twitter because I'll be cooking there as well. And yeah, I'll end it there for now. Infinite love, infinite blessings to you, good people. I will see you on the next one, you guys. Peace.